When one of the big four releases a new album, it instantly gets attention from everyone in the metal community. And when your band reaches back to 1983, you have quite the reputation to live up to. Even with a legacy of over a dozen studio albums ranging from legendary to confusing, you'd have to be in a coma as a metal fan to not get interested about a new Megadeth album. Dystopia marks the 15th album from Mustaine and Ellefson, bringing in new members Louis Arrow and Adler. After 20 plus years, you might wonder how a person or group of people can stay focused on something they think is worth the effort and something to be proud of. And while the band's previous release Super Collider left a war zone of mixed reviews, Dystopia looks to be a completely different beast. And when it comes to thrash and speed, there are few topics that can fit better than that of a destroyed and fruitless future. When asked about the direct theme of the new album, Mustaine said to Team Rock Online, "People have manners and morals, but lately there's been a decline in how people treat one another. That's where Dystopia comes in. If people start loving each other and helping those in need, then when that becomes more important than power, fame, or money, then I think we're going to be okay." Several months ago, we were given the title track to this post-apocalyptic soundtrack. While everyone was wondering with concern on what the new Megadeth album style would be, fear was cast completely aside with both a sigh of relief and a jolt of excitement when we heard Mustaine and company shred an epic of an album introduction. The title track is the deep-bassed, high-riffed staple of a song that most people crave from Megadeth. When you hear this song for the first time, it becomes the refreshing moment of realization that Megadeth still have a fire under them. Even with the bridge into a sidetrack a little over halfway into the song, Dystopia truly has the identity of Megadeth at their best. Lyrically, this song is instantly memorable after hearing just a few lines. It's reminiscent of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. You can take separate lines out of the song and get a grim image of what Dystopia represents, and Megadeth just amplifies it in this song. Dystopia kicks down the door, drags you by the throat, and drops your head right next to the speaker, and you are unable to move. Throughout the album, you will notice a change in speed. Dystopia starts out with the pedal to the floorboard, and after halfway through the tracks do they slow down slightly. But it's in those moments of lower sound you realize just how deep and brutal Megadeth still are, even in 2016.
You look so perfect, but everybody knows they're petrified to say the Emperor has no pose. So bloody perfect, but everybody...
Songs like the title track, The Emperor, Fatal Illusion, and The Threat is Real are the ones that stand out the most on Dystopia. They show what Megadeth are best at in frantic fretwork and fast-paced grumbling bass, with Mustaine giving his signature grunge-like voice in a metal fest. While the album slows down in the center a bit and the ending track leaves on a bit of a cliffhanger instead of a burning moment, Dystopia more than makes up for it on a majority of the songs you will hear. This album will demand your attention when you hear it from the very first listen, and it will leave an imprint on you, making you want to replay many of these songs as soon as they are over.
Vultures have come home to nest. The clock runs out. The weakest link. A deadly strike. The threat is real.
When Dave Mustaine sings and shreds throughout an album filled with dour and grim topics, it should put you in a bad mood, but in reality, Dystopia leaves you feeling alive after listening to it. Not least of reasons being that Megadeth still knows how to deliver something strong 23 years after their beginning. Overall, Megadeth has proven that Dystopia is a future worth living in. While it may not be perfect, the songs that stand out will make owning this album worth every cent you pay. Forget about the past misfires of Super Collider and Risk, and embrace this dystopian future. It's the album from Megadeth that many of us can get behind.
A lust for blood. The final